Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Deja Vu here, bringing you another commentary from the Pro League. This time we are kicking off round 4. That's right, Winners League is finally over. KT Rolster taking the gold over MBC Game Hero, which means that we go back to regular Pro League. And, you know, they've kind of made some rule changes, kind of stuff like that. We actually have a lot to talk about in this series now that I'm just like thinking about all the stuff that's going around in the StarCraft scene stuff. There's actually a lot to talk about. To begin with, for Pro League rules, we have some new matchup style, I guess we can call it. Instead of releasing like the first 4 games, except for the Ace, what they used to do is release the first 4 players for each team and who's going to play a few days in advance, at least before the first games of each week, so you could prepare for whoever you're going to play. Well, now you only have to release them like on site or like 24 hours, not even 24 hours in advance, something like that, or they're announced like as the games are going, so you don't know who you're going to be playing against. It's just like you walk in there and each coach says who they're going to play for game 1 and go. And once that's done, go for game 2 and go, and that's simple as that. So it's kind of interesting. I think you're going to see a lot. Players who are good in Winners League will probably be good in the new kind of style for Pro League, because you kind of have to do well with less perfected strategies against specific players. So you know, guys like say a Gwemchi who's just piddling average, whatever, most of the time, but for some reason can turn on in Winners League, could possibly be a really strong force once again in here. So just throwing that out there, that could end up being something. And it looks like we've already got some action here. Wow, so much stuff to talk about. Like, I feel like we're already into the game, but so much stuff going on. Going for a gas steal, our Protoss player. I haven't even said who's playing yet. Man, we're right in here. That is Cal for the Protoss player, and Flash is our Terran. And I haven't even gotten a chance to explain how awesome it is that this is that we're watching Cal versus Flash, and how amazing this should be. They played a really good game a month ago on Fighting Spirit, which was fantastic. And actually, the day after this game was played, they're going to be playing again in the OSL, the Korean Air OSL. So pretty cool that these two are going to be playing again. So whoever loses this one will definitely have a chance at redemption just the following day right off the bat. And it should be very exciting. This is a new map, Polaris Rhapsody, which we have to talk about too. Jeez, so much stuff going on. But yeah, the new style for my commentating, at least for Pro League, just to keep myself on track. I've been a little busier with real life stuff recently. Is each week you guys actually can help me pick the series that I cast. This week you guys picked KT Rolster versus STX Souls, which is awesome, by the way, because STX Souls is my favorite team, and KT Rolster is the #1 team in the league, and STX is the second best team in the league. And that means that we should have a pretty awesome, sweet series with some high-quality play. Looks like the assimilator just got blown up, and looked like Cal was trying to maybe steal it again, but wasn't able to do so, wasn't able to be that mean. But yeah, so you guys can go to sc2gg.com at the beginning of each, or actually I guess it would be more like the end of each week. I think by Thursday, like today or Friday, Backho will put a post in the Pro Gaming Lounge area about the quote-unquote deja vu of the week. Clever little pun. I was entertained by the pun. I thought it was funny. And he'll put that up with little mini previews of each of the week's series, and then you kind of just vote. Just vote for whichever series you want. Whatever you guys vote on, I will cast, and it's simple as that. So that'll keep me at least doing 1 series per week, which should be pretty easy to do. And you know, I can handle that with all my other real life stuff, even with heavy schoolwork and stuff going on right now. And still trying to do other stuff, but recently just haven't had the time, honestly. Just really haven't had the time. But yeah, getting back to the game, this is on Polaris Rhapsody, one of the new maps. 2-player map. These are the only 2 spawn points. The corners are actually, the top right and the bottom left are actually double gas expansions, which is pretty darn cool. It's a pretty big map, I would say. I'm actually trying to just figure out the exact tile set. It looks, actually, I guess it's only 96 by 120. I guess it's kind of small, kind of. But it seems like it plays pretty big. It's pretty linear in that you can go straight to your opponent's base. It's but there's 2 very narrow bridges that you'd have to cross to do it. Kind of think of it kind of like Blue Storm, in that you have those narrow, tiny gaps. Well, now you've got these small little bridges instead of walled chokes that you can go through. But I think any unit can pass over them. I don't think there's any restriction of units. And then outside of your natural, aside from that bridge, there's also two big broad ramps that expand outwards as well. So there's 3 ways to go instead of Bluestorm, which has 2. There's 3 ways to go and take expansions. Now, for Flash at the top left, the 12 o'clock expansion, which would probably be his next easiest place to go, I think, doesn't have a gas, and the other place for him to go is the inside 9 o'clock. There's a 9 o'clock base, and then there's an it with gas, and then there's an inside 9 o'clock base, which you can see, which has been explored in on those. You can see the mineral patches, which doesn't have a gas. So, you know, mirror it on the 3 o'clock side and the 6, and that's what Cal's got to work with as well. And, yeah, like I said, top right and bottom left are double gases. I'm not actually sure if one of those geysers maybe has less in them or not. Didn't actually go and check that out. I wish I had actually, now that I'm thinking about it. But still, should be a pretty fun game. 2 really high quality players. Definitely have a chance to see this go into some later games, see some interesting strategies. This is a very, very new map, kind of creative. I mean, yeah, it does feel, looking at it, it feels a little Bluestormish, but we'll see if it ends up playing like Bluestorm or not. Yeah, I mean, Bluestorm had a very high probability, I should say, of kind of splitting the map in half. And then you kind of got these 2 armies looking across each other from those from the high ground staging areas, and just trying to figure out how to engage from there and that sort of thing. Whereas on this map, I think that kind of could happen, like if you staged on the 3 versus the 9. But I don't know. It's possible that maybe it's a little less likely to happen because there's so many other paths that you can take around. So maybe you could kind of avoid that kind of thing. I don't know. It's possible. It's a new map. We'll get to see some. We'll get to see if anyone can come up with something crazy, something a little different to play with here. It's like we do have observers are coming out, and we've got a Citadel Vadun. I don't think that he's going to be going like DT drop or anything like that, like a late DT drop. I just don't think that that's going to be even worth Cal's time. I think he's just going to be going for arbiters relatively quickly. Probably get a 3rd base up pretty shortly, and then get his get arbiter attack. That would be my assumption. This map could be pretty good for arbiters in terms of map mobility. I mean, you do have several different paths that your units can take. So the fact that, you know, arbiters do give you a lot of mobility and the ability to stasis, you know, on those small bridges. Like you could probably stasis a whole batch of units, like stymie a whole push just with one stasis, which would be pretty cool. We'll get to see if something like that maybe comes into play here. We got that Citadel Vadun down, so Stargate, and should be seeing a Templar Archives somewhere. We got a couple more gateways. I'm sure there's a Templar. I'm sure probably towards the bottom. We'll see. There's probably a Templar Archives going down. A couple vultures picking at a pylon, and this always makes me sad. Anytime vultures are picking at buildings and it looks like they're going to kill it, I get a little bit sad because vultures should just not kill buildings other than maybe the occasional cannon. And this pylon, oh yeah, the pylon does die. That makes me a little bit sad. Actually, it makes me a lot sad because vultures just should not kill buildings straight up. It looks like we got a command center almost completed, so I think he's going to float that to the inside 9. He might go to the outer 9 and grab the gas, but to take the outer one, well, you can see where Cal's doing it on the 3 o'clock side. You kind of have to wrap around your reinforcement route. You do have that narrow choke, which Cal has chosen to put down a pylon wall for to stop any sort of vulture harassment, so you could do that. I don't know what a Terran would have to go put in there. I don't know if you could put in with a supply depot, maybe an engineering bay. Might be able to do it with just a supply depot, I think. And just block it off and go from there. It looks like, yeah, I think he is going to be taking the inside 9, though. Just going to take that mineral only to start, whereas Cal's going to take the gas expansion, which means that he's going to have to be a little bit more careful with his defense. I mean, he's got to be careful of a drop, like a vulture drop in there. That would suck if you pylon walled and then someone dropped vultures in your base and you didn't have like enough forces there to defend and enough cannons to begin with. So that would suck. And Cal's actually coming here for a push out. You can see how he's crossing this bridge, and it's actually interesting that he actually might get across this bridge. I did not think that he'd be able to cross. There are a couple siege